Hello everyone! In this video, I'd like to talk about HoloLens 2 from Microsoft, especially on how its display works. Some of you might be wondering, what is a HoloLens? I've never heard about it. It's actually mixed reality headset made by Microsoft. And for those people who are not familiar, let's go over this short introduction video that will definitely open your eyes. All right, wasn't that impressive? When I first saw this video, I was shocked, surprised, and also got excited about new possibilities and new applications with this technology. But then also I wondered, how does this display really work? I mean, how can we see all these holograms in front of our eyes on top of the real world? So let's dig deep into this. Well, some of you might think, isn't it the same display technology as virtual reality headsets, such as Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, PlayStation VR? I mean, they're also virtual reality, so wouldn't they be the same in terms of display technology? But then, do you know what's the display behind all this virtual reality experience? Let me give you a small hint. In fact, all these three virtual reality headsets use the same display technology behind our flagship smartphones or high-end television screens, which you may be already familiar. So what is it? The answer is OLED, Organic Light Emitting Diode, which is comprised of TFT glass, organic layer, and polarizer as shown on the right. And this is actually the basic building block of the display screen. So if you actually zoom into your smartphone or TV screens into the microscopic level, then as shown on the right bottom, it will be comprised of millions and millions of these OLED diodes. And the way the color forms is by controlling the intensity of this red, green, blue diodes in different intensity to form certain colors for all the different pixels on the screen to create this immersive, colorful experience on your smartphone, television screens, as well as your virtual reality headsets. So you might be wondering if the same OLED display technology could be applied to Microsoft's HoloLens 2. To answer that question, we need to distinguish between virtual reality and augmented reality, just like shown in this slide. Virtual reality is fully enclosed synthetic experience where you have no sense of the real world and you're separated from the real world to get immersed into the virtual world. On the other hand, with augmented reality, your real world still remains central to the experience. And you're only having some images or virtual videos on top of the real objects. So with that difference between virtual reality and augmented reality in mind, one thing to note about virtual reality headsets is that when you break down into different parts, it's actually including not only the display units made of OLED, but also the special lenses. As shown on the left bottom, some of you might be already familiar with these lenses if you ever tried VR headsets by yourself. So why do we need these lenses? That's because if the objects are too close to our eyes, just like wearing the headsets, then even if the OLED screen itself could display the images very clearly, just like the parrot image here, shown on the right bottom, your eyes will perceive it as blurry and out of focus because it is simply just too close. So let me explain a little bit more details into this. When we try to see certain objects through our eyes, the fact that it shows up clearly and with a focus does mean that our eyes are working properly, where the lenses inside our eyes can refocus all the lights coming out of that single object into the single point on the backside surface of our eyes to form that focused and clear image. Now, if the objects, just like this fly here, or the OLED display in the virtual reality headsets, if that is too close to our eyes beyond the limit of our eyes' capability to refocus, then that focused single point could be actually further back than our eyes, such that on our perception wise, the images or objects that we see are blurry or it's not very clearly focused. And that's why the VR headsets have these lenses, so that your eyes can not only focus better, but also perceive the images as even further away than the actual screen itself. So that's how these lenses combined with OLED display technology could form the virtual reality experience, totally separate from the real world. But could the same technology be used for augmented reality headsets, just like Microsoft HoloLens 2? The answer is no. Because for AR headsets, the real world still remains central to the experience. You still need to see the real world very clearly, but with the lenses in front of your eyes, no, that's not going to happen. So you need a different technology to not only clearly see the real world with just like without the headsets, but also have the virtual images laid upon top of it. So what is the solution that Microsoft came up with? The technology is called MEMS laser display. Let's look at this short video from Microsoft. So the parts are comprised of lasers, fast scan, relay mirrors, and slow scan. And you can see that the lasers are comprised of three colors, just like the OLED display: red, green, blue. And at a certain point, all of those three lasers get combined together and go through the relays of mirrors and go through the fast scan as well as slow scan. So Let's look at more details into how this works. So out of this technology term, MEMS laser display, maybe the laser portion is relatively more obvious. I mean, as shown on the image on the left, you have three different lasers, red, green, and blue. And by combining different intensities of these lasers, you can create any colors. But what is the MEMS? MEMS stands for Micro Electromechanical Systems. And it's basically some kind of electromechanical system in the micro size. So the MEMS technology used here is actually the oscillating mirrors as shown on the right. And this is being used on the fast scan as well as slow scan. So let's look into it more details. So the way this MEMS laser technology forms the image onto your eyes is that you can think of it as each pulse of laser, the combined lasers of red, green, and blue in different intensity, goes through the certain angle of the fast scan and goes through the relay mirrors and also the certain angle of the slow scan MEMS mirror. And that forms the one pixel. And suppose that the actual angle of the mirror in the fast scan and slow scan are constantly changing, just like this MEMS video shown in the middle. Then as it oscillates from left to right, the fast scan mirror actually creates this horizontal scan image, while the slow scan, when it oscillates left and right, it actually creates this vertical scan up and down. So for each of the pulses of lasers, as you reflect it into different positions, then when you actually look into the slow motions of how this technology works, then the total image or the video that's shown onto your eyes would be actually a combination of this horizontal scan and vertical scan combined to form that immersive screen in front of your eyes. So the MEMS laser technology is definitely impressive, but how does it focus given the fact that everyone's head shape and everyone's eye position relative to the forehead are different, just like the image shown here. The HoloLens 2 actually assures that it uses eye tracking technology where user has to go through the calibration procedure when he or she wears the headset first time, and by following the gems with your eyes, the device adjusts to your eyes position and the movement such that the holograms created by these lasers and MEMS are guided properly into your eyes to create this correct immersive experience. And this is still the case. It still says that on a real-time basis, even if your head says tilt a little bit because of your movement, it still tracks your eyes movement and refocus that lasers properly. Now that technology is proprietary to Microsoft, so we don't know the details at this point, but it is still impressive technology and it is totally different from existing OLED display, which is currently used in other kinds of virtual reality headsets. So thank you for watching the video. and I'll definitely come back with more technology reviews of Microsoft HoloLens 2 and also other exciting technology news. Thank you again, and hope you have a great day.